Okay, let's start. Right. Now we have learned the basic concepts about Java, basically the object-oriented concepts, and we have to proceed and learn about uh, two things now. Two things are remaining. One is database concepts with Java. The other one is GUI concepts. Today, my plan is to start the GUI concepts. Actually, Java has two ways. There are more ways, but basically two basic ways of implementing GUI. So one thing using this swing class, one thing using this swing package, the other thing is using this AWT package, abstract windowing toolkit, AWT. The other one is swing. So basically swing components are much like it looks something new. The interface is somewhat new, and AWT is the originally introduced interface for Java. Right, let's learn the components and their introductions now. Okay, first of all, we have to, in order to implement GUI, we need to import the AWT package. And then you have these things like frames, panels, frames, panels. Panels are basically like partitions or divs in CSS, divs in HTML. Then frames, panels, and in the panels you can put labels, text fields, buttons. So these are the things that we can, and this is AWT. Okay, let's come up with an example. I'm going to use brackets. This. Okay, wait. Let me take new file. Okay, so let's start with import in the package. So Java, in the Java main library, you can implement AWT. Actually, AWT in that. So this is basically inheriting from the object class, which is the base, and then the component. Under the component class, there are subclasses like button, label that we saw, checkbox, list, and those things are actually under that. And then you can see these basically other things like window, panels, right? If for web pages, there is something called applets, right? We will learn about these components now and start experimenting them. Okay, let's organize this content into a window now. First of all, I'm going to import the main package, that is import java.abstract windowing toolkit. We can import all the classes, within that all the classes, or you can specifically mention the class. But if you specifically mention, you have to mention class by class by class. Okay, so then let's implement our class. Say AWT example extends. So we have to anyway include everything in a frame. This frame is the main container there. Okay, let's add a button and few things there. Button v1 equal new button. You can include the label there for the button. So whatever you need to name it, basically the button label you can mention over there in the construct of the button constructor method. We can say hello. Okay. Then after that, you need to add this button to the frame. So that can be placed actually by giving the width, height, x, y position. You can place the button v1 dot set bounds. I think you can remember these setter and getter methods in encapsulation. Set bounds, then let's put it in 30, 120 with 100 with and 40, right? Then we can add this button to the button to our frame. And but you have to set the size for the frame. So this add method belongs to the frame, right? Frame class, and you have to mention this inside the construct. Otherwise, like how to implement that. So let's have the constructor there. Construct, the constructor method is having the same name like class name. Okay, for the frame also there we need a width and height. So let's set that. For the frame also, we need to add the width and height. So that can be done with the set size method. You can set any size. And for that, actually we need to set title as well. This is optional, but you can put. AWT example. And finally, you can set it visible, or finally you can enable this. You can make it visible to the others. Let's save and see. Then you need the main method also. In main method, let's create a new frame. Public static void and then AWT example E1 equal new AWT example. We have implemented, save then. AWT example.java. AWT example.java. The desktop, I'm going to save this, and then let's compile this using our terminal and execute it. You can see there's a frame visible. Here's the button. Oh, AWT example. Okay. Everything is there. Button is visible. We haven't set the layout, and we have to set these things also. Exit on clause. These things need to be, otherwise, like, it will not exit. But you can press Control C in the terminal and exit. Let's set layout. For the moment, let's set nothing, and let's see null for the layout. Now it's visible. So you can see it is placed well, but oh, okay, hello. I was worried why this is not appearing. No, it came. It took some time, but it came. Control C to cancel this. Let's increase this to 200. Now 200. Still it's loading. Don't know. Okay. Hello, click me. This is the button title, and you can see it is visible to us. Control C to cancel this, because we have not coded yet. If you want to close this and all, we have to code. Okay, you can try this now. Let's try to add few more components now. As I said, labels, text boxes, these are also possible to add components. So these are also possible to add components. So we can add anything, but just checks box, radio button. So these are some other things. Okay, let's try with some other things like labels and text boxes. If you need labels, text boxes, you can, similar to this, you can create labels. Label, let's put L1 equal new label. Then the label text, you can place, maybe let's put name. And let's add a text field. TF1 equal new text field. Okay, I have created the objects for text field and label. So can you try to add them similar to this code is similar to the other things. You have to set bonds and add it to the bonds and add it to the frame. So try to add them to the frame now. I have a name, then okay, name, after that a text field. So please add them to the frame itself, same frame. Okay. Run it. Please run it. Sure. Okay, I can see only the buttons. So where are the text fields, and where's the text field and where's the label? You did only what I have done in my screen, right? What do you need to do? You need to include this text field and label. That is what I suggested. So similar to the code that we have added for the button, write your own code and add this text box and also the label. Text in first label, in front of that the text box. Okay, add this to the frame. You have not done that part. Can you do that? Minaga?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, do it quickly and show me.
What should I put in my text field? Anything? Hello?
Text field, no need to put anything. Text field is empty. That is okay. Those codes are okay. Now they are created. Don't put this, remove the empty quotations. That is also not needed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
now objects are created, but not, that is not the thing. You have to add them to the interface. Objects are created, I agree with that, but you have to add them to the interface. It's not yet added to the interface. You can try that. Objects are created, I agree with that. So that I also did that part. So here the object creation is done. So this is basically the object creation. Let me comment. This is how object creation is done. Actually, you can, without extending also you can do, right? Without extending from the frame, you can do that. But if you're doing like that way, you have to create object for frame as well. Frame f equal frame. That also need to be done. Then whatever you are telling, you have to tell that f frame dot add. You have to set the frame dot set size, frame dot set title, frame dot set layout, and then the frame dot set visible. So this way also you can do without extending by creating frame object and then calling it. That is also one possibility, and you can see the same result there. But still, I have not done so object creation for frame, button, label, text field. That is okay. Object creation for these 4 objects done. But I have only added the button. What I need is I need you to add the other components, label and text field too. Maybe label here in front of that, label here in front of that, the text field, after that the button. So can you do that? Okay, please do it quickly. Now you have done
This meeting is being recorded.
A lot of languages, Scratch, Python, and this is Java. So not Scratch, Python, Java. So you have done a lot of code. Now you have to, the remaining part, I cannot actually give you. You have to logically think. Okay, so analyze the code first. Button B equal new button. After that, what you have done for the B1?
Set bounds.
Yeah, so can you show me where's your set bounds for L1? Because if B1 need bounds, so what about L1? L1 also need bounds, right? But have you set bounds for L1? No. So that is the logical thinking that you need to develop.
So is it the same way as this?
If you put the same way, what will happen? If same bounds, so label will display on top of the button, right? So you have to change it. The XY width and height. You can put some value and see whether it's displayed way. You can just paste some values and see. I think additional comma will give you an error.
And also every time I save it, I have to change it, I have to exit out of the terminal.
Why?
Is that because I can't, like, if I try to do it from there, it doesn't work for some
Control
reason.
C.
Control C?
To cancel the command.
Oh, okay. I'll try that after this then.
This will surely give an error because there's additional command.
Oh, yeah. Because it doesn't show that.
Go to the command line and press Control C. or Command C? Control C. No, that will cancel. Okay, now we can write it. Okay, set bounds. Okay, what else you have done to the B1? Check. What else you have done to the B1?
Not much.
Here, the B1 is created. After that, B1 set bounds. After that, can you see B1 in the code? After line 12, can you see B1 in the code?
Here.
Then, okay. Then, what about L1? Don't we add this to this L1 to the frame? So that is the thing that you have to. That is the one that you have to think. Okay, similar thing about this text box also, but still you cannot see. But still you cannot see this L1. L1 is new label. Still you cannot see. Because you have added the bonds are the problem. I think about the set bonds and whether it's visible properly. You can just change them.
Change these.
Try to set bonds and see. Try to set bonds and see whether it's appearing, because you have set width 10 and then height 10. It is too small to display this label, right? Width and height. So it is okay to start X and Y with 10, 10, but width and height 10 means it is too small. It is only taking 10 pixels. Maybe you can increase the width. Height also, right? Height is right. Likewise, you can change these bonds and see. It's always your thinking pattern and the creativity. So this you have to develop, right? Develop with the exercises. Otherwise, what will happen? It will go. Okay. Okay. Wait until it loads. Can we see it somewhere? Wait until it loads. Text box also you try, but this should work. So text box also you try to add bonds and see. Maybe you can change the XY also. Change X to maybe 20, Y to 60, 100. Okay.
Should I add bounds to text field too? Or
yeah, you can add text field too. Okay, now you can understand what's missing and what went wrong, right? Now it is about identifying this X and Y and placing this in right place. Can you see all are there? Only problem is those things are there in wrong positions, because you have to always set the bonds. The X and Y you have to calculate from here. X start from the top and going horizontally. Y start from the top and going vertically downwards. X from left to right, Y from top to bottom, from the corner, from the left top corner, top corner, X0, Y0. Right? Now you have to decide, place it in proper place, change the X and Y positions and see whether you can add the label and text box in the right positions, right? You can try this now. Thing is that why we need to calculate these things always, because we are using no layouts, but there are layouts like box layout, border layout. Likewise, there are layouts, so we will learn about them in the next day. But once we learn the layouts, it's easy to add them on a relevant place. Otherwise, we need to do the calculation. For an example, the button is here, so similar to that, if you want to add the label and the text box, we can just say L1 and TF1. Okay, let's start with XY. The button starts here, means we can start from X30 and Y, X30, Y 60. Okay, this button, and then same X is the no, X need to be increased this because 200. This X should be somewhere around 250, and keep the Y same. And okay, so then after that the button is added, and then F dot add the label 1, and after that we can add F dot add the TF text box, text field 1. So by doing that, we can place these components. Let's cancel out the code, compile that again. Okay, now you can see the text box is here, other components are still loading. Let it load, and oh, is there anything wrong? Oh, right, okay. So need to be increased, right? You can see here after the name, this should come in front of that, no? So I think the label, we can reduce the width. Label width we can reduce to 100, and you can start with 100. Then always with the calculations, right? How these calculations work, I will explain now. Just see here. We have to wait until it loads. Okay, now it's perfectly visible. How these calculations are done? So actually these calculations are done from the, okay, X will calculate from here to here. So all these things, you can see X is here, X is 30 for button, and X is 34. So that is how the calculation. X is 30 for the label, and 30 for the label, and here also X is 30 for the button. And Y is this one, Y is this gap. Y is here for label, Y is 60, and for the text box also Y is 60. For text box also Y is 60. So both are well aligned there, both are in the same level. So here width of this is 100. So I'm starting this in 100. The next is starting with the 100. That means the X position is 100 for the label, because I have to start with 100 and go. This one is how much? Like 200. And if you want, you can reduce the height of this. Height of this is given as 40, but let's reduce it to 20. Let's reduce it to 20. So these things are possibilities. You can control your graphical user interface. Anyway, all these need to be done with well awareness. Label, let's think it is 30, and this one I'm reducing to 25. So which will look better than the previous one. Okay, now you can see the thing. with the height of the text box is less than the previous one. But this will take some time to draw the stretch and all, but your computer, it can be fast, but in my one slow. Okay, now you can see the name, a gap bit in the name box, and so this you can reduce, right? You can set the text width of the label to maybe 60, and you can start with 60 and make it closer, right? Likewise, you can decide where to place, how to place. So let's reduce the width of label to 60, and start this with 60. So these are some improvements that you can do after the organizing this component. But all these things need to be done manually since there are no layouts. That is the reason. But when layout is set, all done. Layout is set, it is easy. But without the layout, you need to worry. You need to manually calculate. So let's learn now. Now it is closer, right? You can see. Now let's discuss about the layouts next day, right? So this is GUI component. Once we learn the layout, it's easy to add, but still you have to manually add these things. Later, I will tell you IDE, Integrated Development Environment, which you can use to do this without the manual thing. We can do this using the drag and drop method, but to that we need to be prepared. We need to do the layout one also. After doing the layout one, let's add some other components, UI components. After learning about that, we can move to the IDE. Okay, I'll stop from here for then. So please do this, experiment on this, remember this, and let's continue on next day. Okay, goodbye.